Century MDF is a part of the Century Ply Group, India's leading integrated wood panel company. Founded in 1986, Century Ply controls as much as 25% of the organized plywood market. It has the highest production capacity in the country of 245,000 CBM per annum, with manufacturing units strategically located across the country and in Myanmar and Laos as well. Also ranked among the top 3 laminate producers in India, Century Ply has been growing strongly and steadily since inception. The company's expertise now include not just plywood and laminates, but also veneers, particle boards, doors, and even a container freight station. With Century MDF, the group has made an impressive beginning in high-quality medium-density fiber board (MDF) manufacturing.
In Century Ply, we always believed in innovation and new technologies. We have been adopting new technologies and we have brought many new products during our 30 years of existence. In the same line, we have brought MDF. We have put up a new plant at Hoshiarpur to manufacture MDF, and the product is very stable, very robust, and is very cheap in comparison to plywood and other panel products. We hope that this will grow at a much faster pace and it has grown all over the world.
The Indian consumer has put Century Plywood as the best brand in India. Century Plywood has brought to you laminates, decorative veneers, which are available across the country in every place. Now Century Plywood introduces the latest, the best wood, which is known as Prowud MDF from Century Ply. This product is also now available across the country, from Jammu Kashmir to Kerala, from Gujarat to Assam, or even beyond. This product is available water resistant, termite resistant, even in DWR where it is warm water resistant. It can be used for variety of purposes. We are now looking for a very new consumer experience, and we are absolutely decided to bring a new experience to the consumer across India.
MDF is an evolved version of wood which uses every bit of this scarce resource without any wastage, and that too while being as stylish and workable as natural wood. Furniture, doors, floorings, and everything else that till now has been made with wood can be made with the more eco-friendly MDF. So, how is Century MDF's Prowud, India's finest MDF, made? Quality always begins with good quality raw material. Century MDF Prowud only uses the hard wood of specially grown eucalyptus trees. The process begins with the chipping of the wood. Powerful magnets ensure that all iron objects like nails, nuts, bolts, etc. are removed from the wood chips. The wood chips are stored in silos with movable floors that allow for easy mixing of various types of chips for manufacturing different types of MDF. Before the conveyor transports them to the refiner section, unsuitable big chips and dust are separated and removed to be sent for use in the energy plant. The wood chips now reach the top of refiner building, where they are fed into a pre-steaming bin, where the process of cooking begins. In the pre-steaming bin, the chips are heated by steam and then fed into a plug feed screw which compacts the chips and feeds them into a vertical digester. In the vertical digester, steam is injected, which heats the wood chips and softens them. The softened wood chips are then fed into a state-of-the-art refiner from Andritz, Austria. In the refiner, the wood chips are fed between a rotating and a stationary disc, on which the refining plates are mounted and the wood chips are converted into fibers. The fibers are then coated with paraffin wax to ensure smoothness and to also increase its water resistance property. As the fibers emerge from refiner, they are sprayed with a unique mist glue spraying system to ensure that they are homogeneously covered 360 degrees with glue for better bonding. This glue is carefully prepared in the glue kitchen with perfectly calibrated amounts of specialty chemicals, hardener and additives added to it, which makes the final product termite, borer and fungus resistant. A dash of color is also added to differentiate the high water resistant and premium plus products. The glued fibers now leave the refiner building and are injected into a large duct called the flash tube dryer, where the drying process begins. This flash tube dryer is actually a large duct, about 2 meters diameter and 120 meters long. Large volume of hot air at very high velocity is injected in this duct. The temperature of the hot air removes the moisture from the fibers, and its high velocity helps the mixing of fibers and conveys them all the way to the cyclones situated at the other end of the duct. All this is done in a flash, precisely under 2 seconds, hence the name flash tube dryer. In the cyclones, fibers and air are separated. While the air is released back into the atmosphere, the dry fibers are fed into a fiber sifter to get rid of fiber bundles, glue lumps, foreign particles, etc. Moisture meters are installed at the end of this process to precisely measure the final moisture levels in the fibers and monitor the whole drying process. The sifted fibers are then pneumatically conveyed into the fiber bin to begin the mat forming process. Measured quantity of fibers are discharged from the fiber bin and fed into a mat forming machine, where fibers are formed into a continuous mat. The scalper technology ensures that the mat is always homogeneous and uniform all across. The moisture content and weight profiles are continuously checked and monitored during the whole process. This further ensures homogeneity of the mat. The mat is then pre-pressed to remove air and compact it. Extra fibers get trimmed and returned to the fiber bin. The compressed mat now passes under high power magnet to remove the ferrous objects present in the mat. A highly sensitive metal detector is also installed immediately after the high power magnet, which detects presence of the smallest metallic object still present in the mat and immediately activates the mat rejection system if it finds one. The good metal-free mat is then fed into a mat preheater, which increases the temperature of the mat and improves board surface property. After this, the mat is fed into a continuous hot press. The double belt continuous hot press is what converts the mat into a board. Different combination of pressures and temperatures are applied on the mat during its journey through the various stages of this 28-meter long press, which then perfectly bonds the glued fibers in the mat, compacts it and converts it into a board as per the desired thickness. As the pressed board emerges from it, a robotic diagonal saw cuts it to the preset length with precision. The boards pass through the blister detector and thickness measuring devices to detect presence of blisters or thickness variances in the boards, and if detected, it automatically activates the board rejection system for removal of such defective boards. This then ensures that the final boards are blister-free and are of uniform thickness. The good quality raw boards are then cooled for 48 to 72 hours and stacked robotically for stabilization, after which the finishing process takes place. Every step and every stage of the process until now has been monitored using advanced sensors and computer controlled by expert supervisors in the control room. The finishing process begins with the sanding of the raw boards. 8-head Steinmann sanding machines ensure that the boards are perfectly calibrated to the desired thickness and impart smooth and mark-free surface all across. At the outfeed of the sanding machine, high-speed printers are installed to print all relevant details of the board: grade, thickness, size, quality, and the production details for marking and tracking purposes. Trimming and sizing of the boards follow next. The sanded boards pass through a high-speed cut to size line, where the edges of the boards are trimmed and then precisely cut as per the sizes required. The advanced CTS line gives flexibility of multiple cuttings and in different sizes to cater to ever-changing requirements of the customers. The boards are now ready for quality control, grading, dispatch and lamination. Not leaving anything to chance, quality control at Century MDF is done on each and every board, with experts inspecting them manually. In fact, Century MDF also has an advanced R&D facility on the premises that's well equipped to continuously evaluate and develop better and improved products. The final process for many of the MDF boards may involve lamination of the board with high-quality decorative paper called pre-lamination process. Century MDF has wide range of decors, including standard and exclusive in the pre-lamination category. Moreover, by virtue of it being one of the largest laminate manufacturers in India, Century Ply can also offer the discerning customers a choice of hundreds of decors from its wide range of laminates category and specially pre-laminated MDF. The process of pre-lamination begins with impregnation of the paper with high-quality resins. Century MDF has installed a highly sophisticated paper impregnation line with double impregnation facility to ensure high abrasiveness and high quality and smooth and uniform finish. At first, impregnation is done by dipping the paper in the resin, which allows the paper to pick up all the resin it can. The paper then passes through a set of high-speed dryers, after which a perfectly calibrated coat of resin is applied to it. The paper is once again passed through another set of high-speed dryers, and the impregnated paper is then cut as per the required length and moved for storage in a controlled environment. The next process is lamination. The lamination process begins with sheets of impregnated papers placed on either side of the MDF board and then placed inside the press, where these are bonded together with heat and pressure. The pre-laminated boards are then trimmed for removal of excess paper from all sides, cooled and inspected for quality. They are individually stamped, stickered, packed with protective film and then stacked for dispatch to the discerning stockists and consumers who have chosen Century MDF Prowud, the wood of the future.